We have Dallas here. This is going to be our second session of sit. We have not added the verbal cue yet. We're just going to mark the behavior whenever she sits, and that's how we're going to feed her tonight. You'll notice when I give her the food, I put it down on the floor a little bit away from her, so she has to get up out of the sit so that we can get another repetition in. If you spend 10 minutes a day doing this for one of the feeding sessions with any dog, you'll make a lot of progress. I'm just gonna put a piece of food there so she has to get up and get her reset for another rep. And once the sits become very reliable, then we'll start pairing that with the verbal cue. Good girl.
I didn't use your jalapeno tequila, is that okay?
Yep.
No, you're not ready to go more than that.
So there's a little more distraction this time. My wife's making drinks in the kitchen. My daughter's got the TV on, so if you see Dallas, look down the hallways because there's noises down there. But she's still staying pretty focused. Good girl. If you're new to my channel, I'll talk a little bit about puppy training in general. Before you start any training session, if you can get them outside, get them to pee or poop, break them first. This way they don't have that as a distraction during their training. I always like to start puppies, teaching any new behavior in a small, quiet, distraction-free area. So the end of a hallway with the doors closed works really well, just so they have no place to go. If you're doing this outside in the yard and it's breezy and a leaf blows by, a puppy's just gonna chase a leaf. So if you can keep them focused on the handler, quiet, distraction-free areas work best to get started. And then you start doing the training in different areas of the house, and then you get outside, and then you leave the house, leave the property, and do the training in a parking lot somewhere. Dogs don't generalize well, so the more places you can do this, the further ahead you'll be down the road when you're trying to get the dog to do different behaviors in areas that have distractions. I'm sure most people can relate that you're in your living room and you got your dog doing all sorts of different things, and then you take your dog to a barbecue and you can't get them to sit, you can't get them to down, you can't get them to recall, and it's probably just because you haven't trained in all those different environments. And the earlier you do it, the better off you are. Good girl. So I think I'm going to start pairing the verbal cue with the behavior now. Sit. So what works best is when you start to see them go into the sit, you just say the verbal cue, and then after you do that hundreds of times, they pair the verbal cue with the behavior. Sometimes I'll say her name first. Dallas, sit. Say their name just to get their attention, and then give the verbal cue. And then, Dallas, sit. If you say the verbal cue and they don't do it, just wait. If it's something that you've already been working on, they're gonna eventually do it. We don't want to devalue the word by saying it over and over and over again and training the dog to sit on the fourth time you say sit. So we just say the verbal cue one time and then we wait. Sit. Good girl. Sit. 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 Good girl. Sit. Sit. If you have questions about any of this, feel free to comment on the video and I'll try to respond. Or if you have any suggestions, I'm not closed-minded, I'm open to suggestions. But I've been doing this for a little while and I think I have a pretty good method. Sit. Sit.
Stop it. Watch this. This is a good show.
Dallas. Sit. Good girl.
Let's just try to answer the questions. When was the last time you saw your son?
2 months ago, I was gonna have him here and tell me and Danny went down to the river to fish.
Sit.
I should have been crazy about talking about it. I just been thinking. Somebody exhibited any unusual behavior or changes in mood recently? No. Nothing's fine.
Sometimes people ask, why don't you feed the dog when they're in the sit to reinforce that sit? To me, it's really no different than odor detection when you're teaching a dog to indicate on a specific odor. There's direct reward where you reward right on the odor, or indirect reward where you mark when they indicate on the odor, and then you reward them away from the source. To me, there's no difference. The click is the same thing as the reward, right? You've already formed that classical conditioning, so you've got that involuntary response already. The dog knows the reward's coming, so the click is just as valuable as the reward itself. And when you put the food away from where they're at, it gets them out of the sit and ready for another repetition. So that's why I do that. Just gonna get her up. There we go. Sit. Good girl. The next one, I'm just gonna put the bowl down and jackpot it if it's a good one. And just for the sake of keeping these sessions short, really don't want to go too long with a puppy. Their attention span is terribly long. It's like a toddler. Sit. Good girl. Good girl. All right, once again, thanks for watching.